All right, welcome everybody. I am Love Carpenter, your executive director, and we are totally improvising. Sorry about all the difficulty we had with the Facebook Live, but I wanted you guys to be able to hear everything that Wendy had to share. So we are doing the best we can tonight, and we'll get this video to you tonight. So Wendy, thank you so much for taking time to share with us tonight. And as I was telling you guys on Facebook, I was chit-chatting with Wendy on the phone yesterday, and we were just talking about all the success that she was having in her business and that her team is having. And Wendy, you and your team have done a phenomenal job the last couple months. And Wendy is one of the top sellers on our entire organization. And guys, when you see your name in the top numbers, our team has close to 450 people in our team. So when you see your name in lights and you're in the top, you are really doing something. So Wendy, everyone is super excited to hear what you're doing. And so when I went and looked at Wendy's stats, Wendy's been a director on her team for a while now. She's done an incredible job building her business virtually and has really got a knack for the virtual party. But this summer, her business took a little bit of a dip and she wasn't doing the same number of shows in the business that she wanted to be doing this summer. In fact, 1 month this summer, she held 4 parties. 1 month this summer, she held 3 parties, and decided at the end of the summer that wasn't where she wanted her business to be, and Wendy decided to do something about it. So let me tell you what she's done about it. So in August, Wendy totally turned her business around and went from 3 parties in 1 month to holding and submitting 11 parties in August, 12 parties in September, and 15 parties in October. And when we were talking yesterday, Wendy said, guess how many parties I have in the books for November? And I was thinking maybe 15 or something. Oh no, Wendy has 24 parties on the books for this month in November. I was like, Wendy, holy cow, how did you do that? And so she started sharing with me some of the things that she was doing. And guys, she's brilliant. Everything she's doing is so simple and so duplicatable. It's not anything that you guys cannot do. And so as we get started, I know that Wendy works a full-time job. She drives to Raleigh every day. Wendy, you live in Coates, right? In Coates, North Carolina.
Yes.
So you have about, what, a 45-minute or over an hour commute every day. Is that correct?
Over an hour with traffic.
Okay, over an hour with traffic. So I'd love for you to take just a minute just to introduce yourself to everybody and just tell them a little bit about, tell them why you decided to try Pampered Chef and then why you've stayed and why you're loving it now.
Well, in May of 2017, I will be honest, I never really even used Pampered Chef. I had been to one party, and that was probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. I think I got like, I don't know, a cutting board or something. I never even used it. You know, I didn't care. I didn't even know what Pampered Chef was. I thought it was too expensive. And that's kind of what I tell my guests in my parties. I'm like, I used to be you. I used to be the people that said, why am I going to spend this much for this? But then I realized the quality is more than you're buying the same thing over and over at Walmart than you can one time with Pampered Chef. So that's one way I get sales, is because I'm honest with people. I don't, you know, I tell them, hey, I was in your boat, but this is why I'm not now. So I had my own party. I went to one of my friends' virtual parties, and then I hosted my own. And I'm like, you know, I could use a second income without having to get out and go to a second job, because I have a 2-year-old. He was 10 months at the time. And I'm a single mom, so I'm like, I can use that. So that's how I got started. And then they talked about the director bound, the fast track to director program, and I'm like, I can do that.
And she did?
Yeah. When I first got started, I kind of fell through the loop because I signed on under somebody that soon left the company. And so
we are very thankful that you joined her party. You joined our team.
Well, actually, I think she's still with us, but her director had left the company. And then she ended up, then I think I had a call with Love, and they told it was a new consultant call, and they said, you got to do 6 parties. You book 6 parties in 48 hours. And I'm like, holy cow. And then they said, you've got to do your 1250 in 30 days. Well, I was told 90 days. So I'm sitting there like, how am I going to do this? Because that was already 2 weeks in. I got on the phone that night. I booked 7 parties, not 6, 7. And a couple of them didn't qualify, but I hit my 1250. And then when it come time for director, I think I had until the 31st of August to actually hit it, because you had the end of the month. I didn't like that, because my 90-day date was like August 28th, and I'm like, no, I'm going to hit it by the date. I don't want any surprises. And I did. So I signed on for my son, and then this, I got to, I don't know, this summer I had some personal stuff going on, and it just was, Pampered Chef was not first and foremost.
Wendy, that is the wonderful thing about Pampered Chef. You can use this to meet a need in your family and to meet a need for yourself when you need, and it can be whatever you want it to be. And so, when you can do more parties, you can do more parties. When you need to do less parties, you can do less parties, and it can be anything that you want it to be. So before Wendy gets started telling you how she did this, I do want to tell y'all one more thing that I didn't start this with. So Wendy has done a great job building a virtual business, but when she really ramped her parties up this fall, I want to tell you what kind of income that Wendy is earning as a side gig. You heard Wendy say she's a single mom. She has a 2-year-old little one, and she works a full-time job with over an hour commute each way. So if you want to do this, I'm telling you, you can do this, and Wendy's going to show you how you can do it tonight. I want to tell you what kind of income Wendy has been earning as a side gig for the last 2 months. So month before last, she's been earning about $2,000 a month as her side gig with Pampered Chef. She earned $1,940 in the month of September, and in the month of October, $1,995. Who can get excited about that kind of income for a side gig? All right. So when I asked Wendy how she went from not having her show schedule where she wanted it, about 3 parties a month, to ramping it up and holding and submitting those 11 parties, because I know you booked more than 11 parties to be able to hold 11. Is that correct, Wendy?
Yes.
All right. So I know you told me that you needed help, so you just asked for help. So you want to start us off with what you did this summer when you decided to get your business back on track. And one thing I want to remind Wendy said, don't let me forget to mention this. So Wendy told me that she prayed about her business. So you want to share how you got started with this, Wendy?
Yeah, so I decided June and July I didn't director qualify. I decided I had to by August. I worked too hard to lose it. So I decided, I'm like, I've got to do something. I prayed and prayed and prayed about it. But then I got thinking, I'm like, okay, praying is going to help, yes, because I'm very Christian. I believe in God. I believe prayer helps. But it's not going to help if I don't do anything about it. I mean, it's like praying to win the lottery but not buying a lottery ticket. I mean, it's not going to work. Okay.
You're still here.
Okay, sorry, somebody had called. I had to decline it. And then so I decided I'm like, let me see what I can do. So I got on Messenger and green dotted people. And I even sent messages to some of the people that want green dotted. I sent 66 messages. And you can share with them what I told, if you want to post it, what I said. I told them, I'm like, listen, people, I normally don't do this. I'm like, good morning, how are you? I normally don't do this, but I'm in a bind for this month. And I would really like it if you could help me by hosting an online Pampered Chef party. I did 66 people. I got 12 yeses. So all of them want in August. Some of them said, well, I can't do it this month, but I'll do it next month. I said, well, I'm going to need shows that next month too. So I said, that'll work. So I had and then from all of those parties, I just kept getting bookings. And how I did that was at the start of, and I combined what I do. I've used, suggestions from Jennifer, suggestions from Karen, suggestions from Diana, and I'm sure various others, but those are the three that stand out in my mind that I know I've used bits and pieces of some of theirs. So I message my guests when they first join a party. I message my guests and I ask them, I introduce myself. I'm like, if you need any recipes, if you need help booking a party, help with your order, help with anything, call me or message me and I give my phone number. So that's like the first time that they come in or like anything on the show.
And what I love about what you're doing there, Wendy, when she told me this, Wendy's reaching out, and you said you do that for every person who is active or liking things in the party, right? So
right, anybody participating.
Anyone participating in the party, she's sending that message. And Wendy said to me, she said, they don't really call me, but I give them my phone number that way. They feel like they can. But what I love about that is Wendy's reaching out to them and introducing herself and being very sincere with them and not asking for anything. She's more like what she can do for them, not what they can do for her. And I love that that is her first contact and how she reaches out to them. Okay?
Okay, and then sorry, my house phone's ringing. So then after that, well, I don't really mess with them as far as messaging them. I don't want to. It's kind of like you don't want to beat a horse to death. So, I just lay low. I respond to them during the party and everything. And then the day before the party ends, I send them another message. If they have ordered, I send them a message stating, thank you for your order. By the way, you can, host a party to further help, Susie Q or whoever it is. And you can host a party every year and never have to pay full price for the Pamper Chef again. And then get some more benefits too. And then if they have not ordered, I tell them, Susie Q is close to her rewards or her next level of rewards, or close to a good show, and your order would definitely help her. Would you be interested in placing an order? I just wanted to remind you, if you can at this time, you can also help her by booking a party. So I give them two options. And
so Wendy, you're messaging that to everyone who is participating in the party, the last day of the party. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Have you friend requested these people? Or
I do.
Okay.
I friend request them first. Well, I friend request them and then I message on the start.
And the importance of friend requesting people is that if you're not friends with them, the message, for those of you watching that don't know this, the message goes to their other messages. So if there's someone who's never accepted your friend request and you want to send them a message, you can, if you're talking to them in one of the posts on the party, you can comment and say, hey, I sent you a fun message. Be sure to check your other messages or your message request box. That way you're telling them where to go find it. Because if they're not friends with you, it's not coming in their message that they're looking at.
And thank you, baby. he brought me the phone. Okay, so and I'm glad you said that, because there is a post in my last day of my party that tells people, it's a post I created that tells people to check their messages for a chance to win a gift. So that way, if they haven't already checked, maybe they will. So
nice.
I do have that in my party too.
Very nice.
And so that's about all I do with the guests. Now, if they don't respond to my Facebook messages and they have ordered, I know a lot of people do call the person. I got away from calling because I'm like,
I want you to be really honest and just tell them what you told me yesterday on the phone about why you don't call now and the results that you've seen with what you are doing now.
because people don't want to talk to you. They don't
Answer
answer
the
the phone. So, but they'll more likely respond to a text. I mean, some of them don't, but some of them do. So I text them the same thing that I would have Facebook messaged them.
So these are the people that ordered on Wendy's party. Because remember, once they order, you have their phone number. So if they're not responding to her in Messenger and they did order, she's flipping over and sending the same message through a text, and maybe they're more likely to see that.
Right. And most of the time, if they haven't seen my first message, my initial introduction message, they're not going to see that message either. So I just automatically text them. So if they get both, then oh well. Good. It's better both than none at all.
So far, Wendy has told us how she reached out and ramped up her business when she didn't have the bookings she wanted on her calendar, and then how she worked those parties to get bookings from within those parties by messaging and working with the people in the parties. But then she also shared with me something that she's doing with the host that is helping her to book even more parties per party. So you want to share that with us?
Yes. So I ended up, sorry, my sister would text me. I was making sure everything was okay. I'm sorry. So I ended up, I'm trying to get my train of thought.
So what are you were doing something with your host? You're working with your host.
Oh yeah,
having your host work on bookings as well.
Right. Okay. So I called my host, and I kind of got this idea from Karen, y'all. So I call my host and I talk with them, or I message them. You know, some of them don't want to answer the phone either, even though they're having a party with you. Some of them do. It just depends. But I message them and I let them know up front that I'm gonna give them $50 in free Pampered Chef products if they get 3 people to host qualifying parties. And so that means they have to qualify to hit $200. And then next, well, I was doing 2 months. Now I have to do 3 because I'm booked in November. So
what a problem to have, girl.
Yeah. So my hosts are really filling up my calendar. So because I'm offering them that, and I'm also, reminding them that they get 50. It's okay. Oh, your show's going off. I'm reminding them that they're getting 50% off in addition to that at each show. And I've even told a couple of hosts, I said, now you do remember that these all have to be qualifying parties, so you may want to get more than 3 to book, so that if one's a flop, you won't be out.
That's brilliant, Wendy.
Right. So I mean, one she did 6. She got me 6 parties.
Wow, fabulous.
Yeah.
So at what point do you tell your host this, Wendy? At what point in the party do you tell them that they want to be thinking about people that want to book, and that if they get 3 bookings that you're doing this?
Before it starts.
Okay, so that's before the party ever starts.
I messaged my host a few, and I wasn't doing this, and I got this idea from Karen as well. I messaged my host a few weeks before the party starts, and I tell them that we have Aiden. This is why I don't do stuff like this. So I tell them that we have to, or I tell them I'm getting ready to mail out their catalog and making sure they're still okay with that date. And most of them are like, oh yeah, I'm good with that or whatnot. And then I tell them, I'm like, okay, now when you get your catalog, call me so we can go, or when you get your host packet, call me so we can go over it. And most of them do. I had one that called me yesterday and talked to me for 20 minutes, and she actually may sign on the team. Because I actually talked to him about, signing on. I'm like, we can make this your launch party if you prefer. So I do that. And I also tell them, if they're not interested in that, I tell them about the bookings. And then I tell them, I ask them what they're wanting, what's their product that they're wanting, or what's their couple of products that they're wanting, or what's their goal for their party. And that way, when I talk to them, I can tell them that, you know, we're close to this goal, or do you want this just at 50%, or do you want it free? Because if you want it free, this is what we need to do. So, I mean, I've had a few $1,000 parties.
Very good. So, Wendy, a question for you. So, and just so you guys know, Wendy's little boy has not seen her all day long. And so she warned me, she's like, well, he might be a handful. Do not worry. We all have kids. We all know how it is. So, Wendy, I am so proud of you for running your business and making it work no matter what. I mean, we all have stuff going on. So, we appreciate you taking this time. So one question I have, and I'm sure some people watching will have this. How do you keep track of that you owe that host that, okay, like once you get all these people booking parties, so you got this host that booked 6 parties for you, and this host that booked 3, and this host that booked 4, how do you keep track of when you owe them the $50 for their gift? Do you have a system, or you just know it?
I mean, well, I kind of just know it, but I also write it in a book. When I do my tally marks for my for that, I also put on there who booked what from her, and then I kind of keep track of when she's in her. Most hosts tell me, okay, I get $50. Yeah. So I've actually given the $50 away 3 times so far in the past.
Out of all these parties. So,
yeah.
Yep. So that's something and I want you to notice that Wendy gave them a time frame. Like when she was first doing this, she gave the host, they had to get the bookings within 2 months. So they could still get more bookings and get their half price items. But for them to get the $50, the 3 parties had to hold within 2 months. Well, now that she's booked up, she's moved that out a little bit, and she's giving them 3 months because she just can't accommodate all those bookings because she's so booked up. But notice that she has that cutoff date, so they can still book more parties. But for them to get the $50, they have to hold in that time frame that she's giving them. And so I know we have some newer consultants or consultants that might not know how this works. So I want to kind of go over, if you run an incentive like this, like what Wendy is doing, and you can do $50, you can do $25. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your business. But the way Wendy is affording to do this is when someone hosts a party, a $200 party, you're going to make $40 right off the bat, okay? Well, I mean, hopefully you've heard Wendy say she's having $1,000 parties. I mean, hopefully you're going to have $200 parties, $400 parties, $800 parties, and $1,000 parties. So they're not all going to be $200 parties, but they have to be at least $200 for her to give this gift. So you've earned minimum $40 off their party, and minimum $40 off all 3 parties that have held. Okay, so do you see that there's 4 parties here you're making money on before you're buying any kind of gift? But hopefully you're earning $100 and more per party. But by the time you give this gift, if you give this gift at the 3rd party, you're doing it when when that past host orders on that 3rd party, and they get a 10% discount. So you can decide how you want to do that. So Wendy, do you give them $50 and then their discount comes off of that? How do you do that?
Yeah, I just say $50. So,
okay.
And that's before the discount.
Right.
So I actually get 10% off of it. So
correct.
I'm not really giving them but $45.
Right. So the way Wendy's doing this is she's only giving them, how much did you say? $45, because they're getting the 10% off. So she's giving them $45. But then Wendy is making commission on that $45 amount that she's kicking in. So she's got to put the $45 in up front, but then she is making, with her director pay, 25 to 30%, depending on, well, you're maxing out, so you're making 30%, because I know what Wendy's sales have been. So she's maxing out the 30%, so she's making 30% back on the $45. Well, if you're not a director yet, then offer $25, because you're not going to be earning quite as much if you're not a director yet. But so if you offer a $25 gift, you're still getting that 2% off, so you're getting $2.50 off the $25 right up front, but then you're making 20, 25%, 27% off of that $25. So I just wanted you guys to know how that works. Wendy's not putting $50 in, okay? So I wanted you guys to hear And look at all the parties. She's offered this to get all these bookings, and she says she's only had to pay it out 3 times. So, you know, if a host is getting 3 parties and 2 of those are holding, Wendy's not buying that gift, but the host is still getting the Pampered Chef half-price item that the future party pick that the company's offering. So they're still being rewarded for those bookings. So I think that's a brilliant thing that Karen has shared with us that she's doing and that you're doing, Wendy. So it absolutely works. And so you can decide what you want to give. You can give a smaller gift up front if you want to. I know some consultants do a gift up front for 3 bookings, but if you do that, you want it to be small. Okay, like the corn butter, the chocolate drizzler, the something simple like that. Okay, but people just like free. They like to get free. So however you choose to do it. So Wendy, I think that is fabulous. And Wendy was so kind to share the words that she messaged. How many of you guys would like the words? Give me the words. So Wendy was so kind to share the words that she messaged to the 66 people where she booked 12 parties, and she was just very frank. I need your help. Can you help me out? And so we have those words to share with you. And she also shared with us the words that she's using to introduce herself in the party, and then the words she comes back at the end of the party and messages people. So as a favor to Wendy, I'm going to screenshot those words and share them, but please tweak the words a little bit and don't use Wendy's exact words, because remember, if too many of us are doing the same thing over and over on Facebook, we can run into problems. So use the idea of her message as a starting place, but make it your own and tweak it up and make it your own. And anytime you're messaging people, always use their first name. That way it changes your message a little bit when you're sending it out. Look how cute.
Yeah, he had to see. But there was another thing that me and you had talked about that I forgot to share. I figured, and you might want me to, especially when my sales went up $500 last night.
Yes, thank you for remembering this. This is an awesome little tip Wendy's getting ready to share with you.
And I actually got this from when Diana and I can't remember if it was Diana, Leah, and Karen, when we did that best summer yet big group party.
Mega party.
Yeah. Anyway, when we did that, they did order booking for anybody that had placed an order, or I'm sorry, an order drawing for anybody that placed an order, and then anybody that booked a party. Well, I decided to try to do it in my party. So I'm like, you know, that might work. Well, I did it the first week, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting 1 booking, and I'm having to pay out this. So I'm getting $50. I'm having to pay out this.
Hey, Wendy, your volume.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I decided that I was going to make it be where if I have $200 in orders by the Tuesday of the party. Now my parties run, my pre-parties Saturday and Sunday, and my parties go Monday through Friday. So if the party has $200 in orders or 5 orders, which most time will be $200, then we would do an order drawing. Last night, my unsubmitted sales were like at 1,800. By the end of the night, they were up to like over 2,300. So I'm like, wow, that worked. So, and it, you know, some parties it does really good in, some it doesn't. So, I mean, you just gotta, you know, play with it and see. But I'm not giving them anything. I mean, and it really depends on what they order. You know, if the person that won it, you know, bought a $15 item, I might just give them a citrus peeler. Hey, it's a free gift. You know, if they
everybody loves free. It doesn't really matter what you're giving.
Exactly. So if it's $100, I might give them a cookbook or something, like a Season's Best cookbook. But I do that, and then I also do the next day, like tonight, I would do the booking. If I had 3 bookings before that night, I would do a drawing for all of the people in the bookings. I have yet to do a booking drawing, honestly. I normally get my bookings at the end of the party. So
and one thing to remember about that, Wendy, and for all of you guys, like when you're doing something like that, even though Wendy says she has yet to do a bookings drawing, it doesn't mean that that post is not effective, because it's planting seeds and it's probably helping you get the bookings that you are getting at the end of the party. So just because you've never done the booking drawing, it doesn't mean that post is not working. It just isn't getting the bookings at that time frame. But anytime that you're doing things in your party, you're planting seeds, and sometimes it takes a little while during the party for it to take effect.
Right. And I mean, I think eventually it will. And I have my host post that as well. I think I sent you my sheet of host recommendations that I tweaked a little bit from ones that I've gotten in the past. And that's what I send out to my host. And my hosts know that if they want a successful party, they need to, do what I ask them to do.
So what I love about when I was talking to Wendy yesterday, and she was telling me what she did, I asked her if she'd be willing to share with you guys, to share with our team. And Wendy said to me, well, I would be glad to, but I just do what everybody else shared with me. And she was talking about Karen and Jennifer and Diana, and she said, I just do what they shared with me and figured out how to make it work for me. And that's what we want you to do. Take what Wendy just shared with you tonight, figure out how it's going to work for you, and try these things because they're working. Try what she's doing with the messages because it's working. And so we're all learning from each other. And so Wendy, I so appreciate you taking your time tonight. And I know that you've been gone all day and that your little boy Aiden wants to see you and have your time. And I don't want to tie you up anymore, but thank you so much for taking your time to share with us tonight. And I know that our team is super excited to get this up. I'm going to get this uploaded while I'm at church tonight. You guys will have it tonight when I get in. So Wendy, thank you so much, and congratulations on all of your success and all of your team success, because you guys are rocking and rolling. I'm so proud of y'all.
And I tell my team, I said, if it weren't for y'all, I wouldn't be where I'm at, because they motivate me too. They motivate me big time.
That's awesome. Well, you're such an inspiration to all of us. And so Wendy's got me excited to get my show calendar ramped up. So thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you for your time. You go kiss that little boy and spend some time with him tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.